You're going to hear politicians say Social Security is fine, that it's protected, that nobody's touching it. Here is what the government's own trustees said just this year. The trust fund that pays retirement benefits runs dry in the fourth quarter of 2032. Not someday, not eventually, about 6 years from now. And when it runs dry, this is not a maybe. Under current law, every check gets cut automatically. The trustees put the cut at 22%. The Congressional Budget Office says it could reach 28%. Nobody has to vote for it. It just happens the moment the money runs out. Would you be ready for a 22% cut overnight? Now here is the part they don't say out loud. That cut does not land evenly. If you are a woman, especially a widow, a divorced woman, or a woman who spent years caregiving instead of earning a paycheck, you are standing closer to the edge than almost anyone else in this country. That is not opinion.
That is the government's own data, and I am going to walk you straight through it. A year ago, the depletion date was 2033. This year's report moved it up to late 2032. Why did it get worse? Partly because of a law Congress already passed. The 2025 tax bill cut how much revenue flows into Social Security, pushing the insolvency date closer. But does anyone in Washington mention this when they promise your benefits are safe? Read that again, because it is the whole game in one sentence. The most recent thing Congress did to Social Security made the hole deeper, and they sold it to you as a win for seniors. What sounds like a gift today can quietly drain the fund that pays your check tomorrow. That's why you have to look past the headlines. And underneath all of it is simple arithmetic. In 1960, there were more than 5 workers paying in for every retiree collecting. Today, it's 2.9. By the 2070s, it's projected to fall to just 2.2. Fewer workers, more retirees, people living longer.
The full 75-year shortfall now stands at roughly $30 trillion. This is not a talking point. This is the plumbing of the program, and it is failing. Let's get real about the numbers. Here is why this lands on women harder, and every number comes from the Social Security Administration, the Federal Reserve, or the Congressional Research Service. This is not spin. This is the record. 55% of all Social Security beneficiaries are women. In 2022, Social Security lifted 9.4 million older women out of poverty, more than any other program in the country. For unmarried elderly women, widowed, divorced, or never married, Social Security provides 51% of their total income on average. And for 1 in 4 of them, it is their only source of income. Not their main source, their only one. Now add the spousal benefit. 40% of women aged 62 and older get at least part of their benefit based on a husband's or ex-husband's earnings, not their own. Why?
Women earn less, take years out for caregiving, and are less likely to have a pension or large 401k. That is why spousal and survivor benefits exist. And here is the number that should stop you cold. Women who reach 65 live to roughly 85 on average, several years longer than men. Longer life, plus smaller savings, plus heavier dependence on Social Security, means a 22% cut is not a haircut for these women. For millions of them, it is the difference between getting by and slipping into poverty. Widowed women over 65 already face a poverty rate around 14%. Divorced women, nearly 16%. Never married women, almost 17%. And that is before a single dollar gets cut. Let's make this concrete, because percentages are easy to shrug off. Dollars are not. Imagine opening your mailbox and seeing your check is suddenly hundreds of dollars smaller, with no warning, just when you need it most. The Bipartisan Policy Center ran the numbers.
The average widow receiving survivor benefits gets about $1,800 a month. A 22% cut takes roughly $4,800 a year away from her. Picture that, a woman in her 80s, living alone, whose check may be her entire income, suddenly losing nearly $5,000 a year through no decision of her own. A retired couple with 2 average benefits loses about $10,600 a year. And remember, this is the automatic outcome. This is what happens if Congress does absolutely nothing. There is no version of doing nothing that protects anyone. The only question is what Congress does instead, and who pays for it. So Congress has to act, right? 6 years out, automatic cuts coming. More than 70 million people affected. Surely this is the top priority in Washington. But when the Brookings Institution looked at the senators running for election this year, out of 56 candidates, only 7 even describe a position on how to fix Social Security. 7.
And history tells you how this ends if nobody pays attention. The last time Social Security was months from the edge, in 1983, Congress waited until the last minute and fixed it in a panic. How? They raised the retirement age and started taxing benefits. Both fell hardest on people with lower lifetime earnings and longer lifespans. In plain terms, the 1983 rescue was paid for disproportionately by women, and almost nobody described it that way at the time. That is the pattern to watch for now. Nobody is going to introduce a bill called the Cut Women's Benefits Act. The changes will look completely gender neutral on paper. Raise the retirement age? Neutral on paper, but it hurts most the people who depend on the benefit the longest and have the least savings to bridge the gap. Trim the cost of living adjustment? Neutral on paper, but the longer you live, the more a smaller raise compounds against you, and women live the longest. Every serious option on the table has this exact property. The words are neutral, the math is not. So what do you actually do with this? Not panic. Panic causes the worst mistakes here. Instead, 4 concrete things. First, know your own numbers today. Log into your account at ssa.gov and look at your benefit at 62, at your full retirement age, and at 70. If any part of your benefit comes through a spouse's record, current or former, find that number too. You cannot protect what you have never measured. Second, do not let fear stampede you into claiming early. This is the trap, and it's the one mistake fully within your control. Claiming at 62 permanently locks in a reduced check for the rest of your life. If you live to 85 or 90, and women often do, that early claim can cost you far more than any cut Congress is realistically going to pass. Reacting to a future cut by triggering a guaranteed cut today is exactly backwards.
Third, if you're divorced and the marriage lasted 10 years or more, you may be entitled to benefits on your ex's record, and claiming them does not reduce their benefit by a single dollar. Enormous numbers of divorced women never claim what they are already owed. Before you worry about future cuts, collect everything the current rules already give you. And fourth, pay attention this election season. The senators chosen this year are the ones who will vote on this fix. Almost none of them are talking about it, which means the pressure has to come from voters, especially women. The fix is coming one way or another. The only open question is who pays for it, and history is blunt. If women are not watching closely, it will be them. If this gave you something to think about, take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Every week, I break down the money decisions that matter most in retirement with honesty and clarity, so you can protect what you've built and enjoy the years ahead. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.